Hello, my name is Magdalena, and today I'm going to be talking to you about traditional versus online learning. What is traditional and online learning? Traditional classes take place within a physical classroom where students receive face to face instruction from an educator. Online learning takes place through a virtual classroom where students, peers, and instructors interact through an online educational platform. Online instruction can take place synchronously, where students log into class during a certain time, or asynchronously, where courses are self-paced and can be easily integrated into the learner's lifestyle. What are some similarities of traditional and online learning? Traditional and online learning make it possible for active learning and participation to occur. While types of assignments and how they are turned in might differ, if done correctly, instructors of both types of learning models can facilitate active learning and engagement through interaction and communication with students. This is usually done through engaging and thought-provoking assignments such as debates, group assignments, reflective writings, just to name a few. Both traditional and online instruction requires instructors to provide effective feedback frequently. Feedback aids the learners in understanding what they are doing well and what they need to improve upon. Personalized instructor feedback in a traditional and online setting allows students to learn according to their needs. Feedback from instructors can open appropriate lines of communication between students and instructors. So, what are some differences between traditional and online learning? One of the differences between traditional and online courses is that traditional learning supports face to face instruction, where students interact with their instructor in real time, while online supports more independent learning in an isolated setting. Diversity among students is another difference between traditional and online education. While there is diversity within adult face to face education in terms of ages, races, and cultural diversity, they have a tendency to be from around the same location regionally. On the other hand, virtual courses allow students from across the nation and even globally to connect and learn together. What are some pros of traditional learning within history courses? History classes taught through a traditional learning model allow students, peers, and instructors to interact and have scholarly discussions regarding the content in real time. Instructors are able to present historical photographs, political cartoons, and illustrations that provide whole group discussion and debates. Another pro of using traditional learning within a history class is proximity. Proximity allows creation of a classroom community, fostering trust, communication, and collaboration, which are essential for any history classroom. All the topics within history courses require a sense of decorum, respectfulness, and maturity within the classroom. With traditional learning models, instructors are able to set the tone in person and facilitate appropriate topics of discussion for a friendly academic environment. Cons of traditional learning within history classes. Students within traditional history courses have very little flexibility with scheduling of their classes. Most adults have extremely busy schedules with family and work commitments, leaving many students unable to attend face-to-face class during the day. Cost also plays a factor in traditional learning, depending on location of the campus and cost of tuition in general. Many traditional programs require you to meet at specific times every week, which can become costly for the learner. An advantage of online learning within history courses is flexibility of scheduling. Adult learners have busier schedules than ever before, and online learning offers them accessibility to their classes to fit their busy schedule. This allows students to complete assignments when and where they want. History students read a lot of material weekly. In traditional learning, instructors assign textbooks, novels, and print out articles for students to read. Within online learning, students have access to a wider range of reading materials provided by instructors via online, as well as access to the university's online library. A disadvantage of virtual learning in a history class is the lack of face-to-face instruction. History requires large amounts of reading, research, and creating and supporting of a thesis. It is harder for instructors to provide guidance on larger semester research projects virtually. Another disadvantage of online history courses is distractions and difficulty staying motivated. Students must be intrinsically motivated and understand how to manage their time effectively. Learners transitioning from traditional learning to online learning must find a system that works for them. Adult learning theories such as transformative, self-directed, or experimental learning theories can be used both in the traditional and online classroom environments. Most of the adult learning theories were created with traditional instruction in mind, so it is easier to facilitate this type of learning in a face-to-face classroom. Applying the same learning theories in a virtual course might be slightly more complicated, but it is completely doable with modifications and the use of digital platforms to help facilitate the learning process. For example, the transformative learning theory would be most suitable for my content of U.S. history. Adult students from around the nation and globally may enter the course with preconceived notions of many topics, elements, and concepts within U.S. history. By incorporating transformative learning into my adult traditional classes, students will be able to develop the capability and understanding of multiple perspectives, thoughts, and theories regarding the topics taught within my course. I would begin by grouping students into small groups of 3, presenting groups with short articles, primary sources, and photos of the artifacts. I would give them time to read, analyze, and discuss the sources while answering the questions pertaining to the sources. As this is happening, I would make my way around each group asking and answering students' questions. If the students were learning about the Cherokee Nation versus Georgia court case during Andrew Jackson's presidency, I would ensure that the readings I provide contain perspectives from both Native Americans as well as the federal government. Following the small group discussion, we would then move to whole group discussion, asking and answering questions of how our perspectives of this historical event has changed. Also asking other thought-provoking questions such as, how would you have felt had this been done to your family and friends? What difficult decisions did leaders of the Cherokee Nation face during their people's forced removal? And what actions are Cherokee people taking today to keep their community and culture alive and strong? These types of thought-provoking questions bring relevance to the subject by tying it into today's society as well as to the lives of each individual student. In an online setting, I would have the class meet up via Zoom. I would post all primary sources, articles, as well as questions on Zoom. Zoom allows instructors to create groups of learners and to jump from group to group to ensure all students are participating in group conversations. Discussion board topics for that week would focus on the Cherokee Nation versus Georgia, which promotes whole group discussion and reflection of their perspectives before and after analyzing the sources. My last example will be of self-directed learning within a traditional or online history classroom. The self-directed learning theory can be applied into a traditional class by introducing Lincoln's inaugural addresses and presenting articles regarding Lincoln's addresses by historians. Once the reading materials are provided, the course becomes self-study and learner-centered. Following the reading of all articles and primary sources, an essay with an original thesis would be assigned, completed outside of class, and turned in. In an online learning scenario, I would assign the reading materials for the week in an appropriate location so students could easily locate them. To promote student interaction and discussion, I would ensure that the discussion board questions for the week are drawn from the readings provided. An essay with an original thesis regarding Lincoln's inaugural address would be the main assignment for the week. Students would have 1 week to complete the essay using the readings provided as well as other scholarly sources. There would be explicit instructions such as format and word count in the essay directions, as well as a rubric. Traditional and online versions of this activity incorporate self-directed learning theory. Both traditional and online learning models have a wide variety of pros and cons for both learners and instructional facilitators. Instructors have to consistently fine-tune and perfect their instructional methods to better suit the needs of all adult learners, whether in a traditional or online learning environment.